Hello everyone, this is part 14 of What If Naruto Learned the Secret of Shadow Clone, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Konoha was by and large a peaceful and prosperous village. The villagers themselves had nothing to truly worry about, as Konoha had shown time and time again that even if battle fell upon them, it would be swiftly dealt with. That confidence in their protectors bled over from the villagers themselves into the ninja who protected them. Happy, confident ninja tended to work and perform better in the end as well. Things had slowly changed. Many of the villagers who had been saved by Naruto during the sound invasion had taken note that they hadn't seen the hyperactive blonde in a long time. Rumors had begun to circulate, from he had been courted into the Daimyo's new Guardian Ninja Corps, to he had begun secretly training as the next Hokage. Some, more whispered in dark places, had assumed the demon brat had finally gotten his on some mission and kicked the bucket. These rumors were smaller, somewhat buoyed by the new addition to Team 7. The civilians, however, were still hopeful. Peace was a nice thing after all. The ninja, however, knew better and were keeping a tight lid on the truth. Contracts that had been earned because of Naruto's performance during the Chunin exams and his subsequent almost single-handed rescue of the entire village had begun to wane. The blonde maelstrom he had been called. Well, the blonde had been spotted in several nations so far. From Hot Spring to Rice and even Earth. Bandits and enemy ninja were learning to fear him, while civilians who met him were praising his abilities and his character. But Leaf Ninja were worried. Because they knew, even if not the whole truth, that the village had done the boy horribly wrong. Soon they knew the hammer was coming down. Because the Fire Daimyo was coming to visit the Leaf. Soon it sat before the council in a smaller meeting room within the Hokage Tower. Everyone was quiet as she just announced to them all that the Fire Daimyo would be coming to Konoha by the end of the month to give them time to prepare. While the civilians would want to celebrate and put on a festival, she let them all know that this visit was due to the flight of the Uzumaki clan. Sum is the first to bring up the biggest issue here. One way or another, we are going to lose face. We fucked up. This is us having to face the music, so to speak. Hiashi nodded. Will the Uzumaki be here to attend and speak the grievances? Tsunade shook her head. No. This meeting is to get our side of things and give the Daimyo information. After this he will be meeting with the Uzumaki at the current location. Shikaku frowned. The Daimyo did not share that information? Nope. Seems he doesn't trust us. Wonder why. Tsunade sniped back, frowning towards the civilians on the council. Several of which look ready to plead their own case. Danzo, however, places a hand on the table. Perhaps the civilian members of the council should keep their mouths shut for the time being. You've blundered this enough. Finally having enough leverage over the fools to keep them on a leash, Danzo had no qualms about putting them on notice. If only Tsunade had this type of influence. She was still such a child, the drunk. Sum loathes it but agrees with Danzo in this. Ya no, I hate to say it, but Danzo's right. If not for you we wouldn't be in this mess. So best to keep quiet for now. Sum was all for at minimum publicly apologizing to the Uzumaki and offering reparations. It would have been the fastest and easiest way to make amends, even if some face would have been lost. Honor was more important in her book. Onoki motions to Choza, who nods and thumps his chest. Perhaps then, since we know we can't really talk our way out of this, we all help put on our village's best for the Daimyo when he arrives? Show him that even without the Uzumaki, our village is still plenty strong. Shikaku waved a hand to shake away the thought. It was too one-dimensional. The Daimyo is smarter than that. He won't be swayed by pretty lights and carnival games. We can still put on a strong face. Every little bit helps. Onoki chimes in. It'd help even more if we had the Uzumaki or his clansmen attend. At least show we have some contact and are attempting to reconcile. Danzo chimed in again while ignoring his own plans in place for the Uzumaki. With luck his reconditioned agent will have made contact with the boy by now. Tsunade nods to it all and leans back. The festival will be approved, no problem. We have what resources we can spare looking for Naruto and his group. We still will not list any of them as missing nin. Here she paused and glared at the civilian members. Hopefully we can slip through this without too much drama. Soom grumbles, wouldn't be any drama at all if the civilian council didn't get so greedy. Soonad slams a hand on the table, enough of that. Now we need to all come together and put on a brave face. We can talk about who's a dumbass and who did wrong later, understood ? Getting nods and verbal agreements, Soonad picks up a form in front of her. Alright, first off, where will we be accommodating the Daimyo while he and his entourage stay ? This was going to be a long meeting that Sunday wasn't looking forward to, but hopefully they would get some new letters from Naruto soon. She was looking forward to word from the boy. Outside and on the ninja training grounds, Team 7 is hard at work. Today is chakra exercises while Kakashi runs them through mental drills, at least had been. The day was beginning to wind down and they were all chatting as they worked through cool-down routines. Kakashi brings up their upcoming patrol mission. It should be a week long. We will be patrolling from Hot Spring to Rice and back to Konoha. Is everyone prepared ? He wasn't shocked that their patrol route somewhat coincided with where their missing blonde had been sighted. Sakura was ready for a trip out of the village finally. They had been cooped up for too long. Though the time with Sasuke had been well worth it. It'd be nice if we could visit some of the springs while we're out. I hear they're a mashing. Secretly she wanted to hunt down the hidden spring of increased bust. She had heard about it in rumors around the hospital, and even if they were fake she was willing to track it down. Soonad had to be hoarding that information to herself. Sasuke was transitioning from closed leg to open leg stretches on the ground. Flexibility was important after all, a vacation would be nice. He tried not to think about Sakura in a swimsuit. He failed, but he was happy with this failure. Sai, however, was fine being a party pooper. That has nothing to do with the mission. It is a partal, not a sightseeing tour. Sakura groans as she moved from sit-ups to scissor kicks, her physical fitness still needing improvement. The mission isn't everything ya know. Life is meant to be lived after all. She missed Sai pondering that statement as he was working through his art book. Currently drawing the likeness of a woman and a serpent together. Kakashi, however, claps his hands together to draw everyone's attention. Well said, Sakura. While the mission is important, we can't forget to live our lives to the fullest. Now, everyone take a few laps of the field and we'll call it here for the day. Hearing groans, the teens eventually came to their feet and complied. Kakashi himself, however, allowed his thoughts to turn inwards. It hadn't been all that long ago that he had been pulled into a bar crawl with Kurenai and Anko. Kurenai because she was still upset over Hinata leaving, and Anko because she had her own business to unload. The women, however, figured Kakashi always needed time out because the guy was always stuck in the past and even he couldn't deny that. So here they were, sitting in a booth at a bar and drinking heavily. Anko, however, was pretty far into her drinks, you know. I sorta get why little Naruto left. Seeing the others look at her questioningly, Anko shrugs, you know me. Remember how I was treated, hell still am treated, all because Orochimaru trained me ? I'm still a special Jonin because the council has decided they can't trust me to train students and give me my full certification. What a load of shit. Sometimes this village really knows how to treat its best and brightest. Taking a shot of her current drink of choice, Anko laid out across the table. Kurenai rubs her friend's back, and yet you're still here. Trying to prove them wrong. That's what makes you such a great example of a good kunoiki of the leaf. Kakashi himself couldn't fault Anko and for once said as much. I can't say I blame him or you. I've thought about it. But it's our duty as upper-ranked ninja to work through or bury our own problems and pass on something better for the next generation. We've been through some shit. War, assassinations, seductions, you name it. All before these kids even left the academy. I wouldn't wish any of that on them. Anko, however, isn't convinced, not leaving her laid-out position. But what the fuck happens when there isn't a better option ? What if leaving is what's best ? Mind hazy, she could only be this honest with her closest friends. She gave thanks that Kurenai didn't bring that stick in the mud along. Kakashi, however, has paused mid-drink as he thinks over what she said. Knowing that he's been faced with such decisions himself. Some old and some recent actually. Taking a drink after a moment, he shrugs, all we can do is what we think is best for the next generation. No matter what that may be. Kurenai and Anko raise their cups and drink with him, while he begins to key up teasing for the single snake mistress. He had seen her and that academy teacher together a lot recently. Snapping out of it as he hears Sakura bickering with Sai, Kakashi vows to continue to do the best he can for all of his students. Even those that aren't around at the moment. You don't abandon your comrades after all. B. Far away in Wind Country we find the Sand Village. Hot, dusty, but alive in its way, the village hidden in the sand was a resilient place. Its people reflected this, surviving and thriving in a climate and landscape that for anyone else would be a death sentence. At its center was, as with most ninja villages, was the cage tower in which Gaara, the newly minted Kazekage, was reading a letter from of all places Wave. Last he checked he hadn't sent anyone out to the small island nation and for sure Suna had not had any interactions with them. Here they were however, sending him a letter congratulating him on his ascension to Kazekage and wishing his siblings well. The rest of the letter detailed potential trade agreements and a possible alliance between the nations, though the sender, this Tsunami, even admitted that would have to wait until their leader returned. So a functionary decided to take the initiative on this, curious. Making a motion for his secretary, he asks for his siblings to be called. He was curious for sure but needed outside opinions still. Normal human interaction was still something he was working on after all, though even for him this letter was sending odd signals. Having turned to other paperwork while he waited, it didn't take long until first Kankuro and soon Temari were in his office while his current secretary closes and locks the door. After expressing just what is in the letter he had received, his siblings offer their own opinions on the matter. Kankuro shrugs as he takes his customary seat in the corner and unseals a puppet to begin working on it, seeing as this wasn't something super important. Not like we have much to benefit. Any trade from a nation that far away would have to go through the land of fire and you know the kind of taxes that'll get hit by. Kankuro himself didn't care for the leaf or fire nation. Temari however was sitting on the couch while actually thinking it over, unless the trade route is completely by sea. It would be longer, having to traverse around the land of tea, but it's doable. The idea of anyone wanting to trade with them was sort of a mashing. It wasn't like they had much to trade at all anyway besides heavy metals and sand. But what good was that question mark? Kankuro brings up a point that he didn't believe was considered. Why even bother with such a small nation question mark? We could chuck the letter and forget them and realistically not miss anything. Gaara however holds up the letter, pointing at a section at the end. I might have, if not for this passage. It mentions that they hope my tenant has gotten over being turned into glass for a while. How many people on the planet are privy to that battle question mark? Temari is grinning already, oh ho. So the blonde powerhouse is up to some major moves then. This would require some planning then. Unnoticed to her, both boys shudder. Gaara nods after a minute. It appears so. If this is Naruto, or someone working for him, then it is at least worth the look. Kankuro shakes his head and crosses his arms over his chest. No one officially from the sand can go. We have no official reason to be. Their intentions with us between fire are already tense still. Temari raised a hand from where she was on the couch. I can go. I'm technically a diplomat now, and things with Konoha have stalled for some reason. So I'm free to go take a look around, meet up with this Tsunami. Gaara thinks that over as Temari was most likely the best choice for this. She was smart and diplomatically a better choice than himself or his brother, or anyone else from his administration. I'll write a letter for you to take with you tomorrow. Think you'll be prepared by then? Temari nods and sits up straight. I'll be ready and able first thing in the morning. A grin was beginning to stretch across her face that had the other boys shuddering. They refused to comment however, as that way led to mental trauma. B. In Earth Country, if a Wagakur could be described as anything, it would most likely be unyielding. Having stood the test of time, the village and its people were collectively a stubborn and no-compromise type. That it had taken one of their own, now an infamous Nukenin, to destroy their village once said much about their strength. Inside his office, Onoki works through his paperwork while grumbling and complaining to the only other two occupants of the room, his grandchildren. Kuretsuki and Kazushi stood behind his shoulders while he complained, again, about some new blonde who was making a name for himself. In Earth Country no less. Saving prisoners from Orochimaru, they were trying to make a fool out of him, he just knew it. And to top it off, the Leaf seemed to have misplaced the Jinchuriki as well. At least if the rumors are to be believed, Onoki finally shoved the paperwork aside. He wasn't going to be getting anything done as it was. Kuretsuki shrugged. No one has any proof, and right now getting anyone into the leaf to spy is all but impossible. Kuzochi agreed with his sister. That's right, there's a pretty tight lockdown going on there. Onoki crossed his arms and nodded. Exactly. Think about it. An island in the south is just gone. That takes monumental power. That Maelstrom character has been sighted in Rice. Civilians, even some of ours, are migrating somewhere beyond the Fire Nation's borders. Thinking on it, he slammed both hands on the desk. Someone's changing the game, and I don't like it. Kuzochi leaned forward a bit. Couldn't change be a good thing? Onoki shook his head. Not when someone is amassing power. Missing Jinchuriki, a build-up of forces, some new S-rank ninja on the loose. No. I don't like it. Kuretsuki grinned. Do you like anything, Grandpa? Quiet brat. Onoki thinks it over, grumbling some more while his grandchildren wait. If only Deidara hadn't gone off the deep end and left. He'd be perfect for his. Kuro? Yes, Grandpa? I want you to look into this blonde Maelstrom character. Quietly if you can. I don't want the leaf building up their strength unchecked, and I think whoever this is probably has the answer. Here the much shorter old man looked up to his granddaughter. Do not attempt to fight or engage. Gather info, run, that's it. Kuretsuki was ecstatic, hopping over the desk to spin and salute to her grandfather. On it, Grandad. I'll sniff the guy or girl out within a week. And like that she was gone, lapel flapping in the breeze. Kazushi stands there quietly for a bit while Onoki goes back to his paperwork. Shuffling from one foot to another quietly until Onoki finally addresses him. What boy? It might have been better if I had gone. He knew his sister. She would be itching to fight this guy if given the chance. Onoki leaned forward and massaged his shoulders. One of you needed to stay. You're the better choice for that. Little Kuro can only be cooped up for so long. That Kazushi was better at back rubs didn't factor in at all. Well, yes it did. Onoki was old, he didn't need to lie about it anymore. Let him be pampered, damn it. Kazushi has another question, however. What do we do when we find this Maelstrom and where he's operating out of? Savage grin on his face, Onoki set upon his paperwork. What we would do with any upstart leaf. Burn it. It wasn't like this one was on par with their fourth Hokage. Someone like that was a rare oddity anyway. No, they would put this upstart down as a warning to Konoha and its new Hokage not to get too big for its britches. B. Enlightening. A similar conversation is going on between A and his two current Jinchuriki. The harsh-looking blonde Yugito and the large multi-sword wielding B are standing before his desk at attention. The conversation is on the whereabouts of the Kyuubi and what they could do. A sticks to what works for Kumo. Currently, I want the Kyuubi found and brought to Kumo. B shrugs as he's already over being inside the village, ready to go back to being a hermit. So you're the man, what's the plan? The Raikage frowned and leans forward on his elbows, tenting his hands. I have two fronts to this. First, Yugito. Yes sir? Once we locate the boy, you're to attempt to seduce him into coming to our side peacefully. Sources say Konoha fumbled the connection greatly. Lean on that. He's just a boy, you shouldn't have too much trouble on that end. While I had other interest, he could admit Yugito had her own charm that was eye-catching. Surely she shouldn't have too much trouble bending some wet behind-the-ears brat around her fingers. Then he turned to B. If that fails, you're to beat him into submission. Crush him and drag him back here. You have the most control of your demon. That boy couldn't have even started training with it yet. Use your experience and training against him. Power-wise there was still a massive gap between the 8 tails and the 9 tails, but B's training and experience should bridge it. B shakes his head. Bad idea yo, kid is smarter than you think though, should talk, don't balk, or he'll walk. Denied. Plan is simple and effective. Plus, with these Akatsuki jokers out I want you both mobile. Get to it. B, you can take your team. Do not get sidetracked. Seeing both Jinchuriki salute, he dismissed them with a wave. Outside the office and meandering their way towards the gate, Yugito speaks up finally in her quiet voice. You and I both know this isn't going to work. Gotta try, or do ya wanna die? I'm serious. Yugito stopped and forcefully turned the larger dark-skinned man wearing glasses. If he's even a little like us, he's going to sniff us out and be gone before we even get a chance to open our mouths. B shrugs and makes a pose. Us Jinchuriki gotta stick together, work together. Can't always be so cautious, yo. Yugito rolls her eyes and turns to start walking again. You're a lost cause. Maybe you'll defect with the kid. Or come on Yugito, don't be that way. Rhyming stopped under his duress. The bigger man complained and whined as Yugito continued to ignore him. This was making out to be the start of a very long mission. Yugito voiced one concern she had. This kid, he apparently took on the One Tails by himself and won, easily. That's cage level power already, and he's had time to grow and learn since then. Think we should be worried? Yes. At the very straightforward answer, Yugito turned to look at the bigger man who shrugged while fingering one of his multiple swords. Kid's gonna be on edge, wary. He won't trust us or anyone coming for him. Bro's not wrong, soft approach is good, just, as a friend, not the seductress. Seeing B actually take this serious for a moment, Yugito eventually nods and turns to continue their trek. Got it. Anything that can stop your rapping means business. Huh. I wonder if the kid is hot. I haven't had a decent roll in the hay in a while. Plus demon containers usually had some prettier mashing stamina, that should translate over. No go, no go. That's a kid you're trying to make a bid for. If there's a headband on then we're getting it on. No. Suddenly the older Jinchuriki was very worried about this mission. B. Kabuto had to duck to avoid the teacup that splattered against the wall behind his head. It seemed today was also a bad day for his leader and mentor. Standing to his full height he watched as Orochimaru ranted and raved against everything that had been happening lately. 3 lost bases so far, several thousand test subjects just missing, and no clue exactly who it was. Well, no concrete proof, but Orochimaru was very vocal about who he believed it was. That little brat. I'm going to hunt him down and squeeze the life out of him with my own 2 hands. Bandanged form still throbbing and aching from his latest transplant, the Sannin was ready to throttle someone. Where are the sound for? I have a mission for them. They are on the way, my lord. Perhaps it would have been better to kill little Naruto when we had the chance? I'm sure I could have done the deed. Orochimaru scoffs as he paces about his dark torch-lit office. I'm sure you would have tried. Do you remember just what he was capable of? He used a bomb capable of creating a dead zone just outside of Tanzaku town. Nothing grows there anymore. Even trying to go there yourself can lead to death later. No, I should not have underestimated him. I won't do so again. No, he wouldn't. Let that little shit make a fool out of him? Not again, no. He'd kill him personally. The boy has likely gotten even more powerful since our last meeting. Direct confrontation might no longer be an option, which means coercion. Something else to keep him away from us. Kabuto pulls free a scroll, copied records from of all places Konoha detailing that Naruto had indeed left. Maybe we should first bend our resources into finding where he has run off to? Orochimaru thinks on that. Originally he had wanted to use little Tayuya and that brat Karen in order to bring Naruto around to his side. Something was now interfering with the Uzumaki's tracking seal, however, and he could no longer feel it. That meant starting from scratch. Take the sound for yourself, head first to Konoha and try to get information on his whereabouts. From there track him down, but, quietly, I wish to deal with the boy myself. Do you think that wise, my lord? I haven't fought him with intent to kill. That's all changed. He wants a war, he's getting one. Now go, I don't want to see you unless you have news for me. Understood, my lord. Without another word Kabuto was gone, leaving Orochimaru alone. Raging again, he flexed his chakra and tore a hole in the wall of his office. I should have killed the boy when I had the chance in that dank forest. If only I hadn't gotten so curious. Curse those Uzumaki. In hindsight he should have known better. The past never seemed to be very forgiving of faults, however. Across the nations, all of the major nations with exception to Mist all seemed to have one thought on their minds and set similar plans in motion. Find the Maelstrom and convince or retrieve him for their cause. And while all of them currently seemed to forget that it was these kind of actions that led to the Maelstrom leaving his home village in the first place, they all put stock in the fact that they were major nations. If they wanted something done, it got done. That was how it had been for decades now, and some brat wasn't going to change that. May and the Mist had the belief that they would rather not try to rebuild a glass crater, thank you very much. They would be staying out of it for now. Somewhere, away from the machinations of the major ninja villages and deep within the country of rice, Naruto himself sneezed several times in a row. This surprised not just himself, as he knew he wasn't allergic to anything, but also everyone with him, as none of them had seen him indicate he was sick. Naruto, however, just rubbed his nose and shrugged at their questioning looks. Someone must be talking about me. Kotohime leaned over with a handkerchief and exposed her cleavage. On accident, here, let me. Naruto, however, waved her off and produced his own rag to check his nose. That was weird. Am I the only one who felt like someone walked over my grave? Kurama chuckled. First time being hunted by several groups at once, huh? You'll get used to it. Get used to it? What do you mean? Kurama went back to ignoring him. Wait a minute, fuzzball. What do you know? Tell me. If I die, you die, remember that. You'll be fine, believe it. That's my line, asshole. If only Naruto knew what was coming over the horizon. Naruto watched quietly from his treetop vantage as the bandits rallied behind an improvised fort below them. It had been a few days of wandering from one side of Rice Country to the other, cleaning up rogue gangs and bandits, but this was the last stop for him. Several bandit groups had rolled together in some attempt to consolidate power. It wasn't going to help, but Naruto could appreciate that they were trying. Behind him, Kotohime, Sasum, and Jugo were watching and waiting for his go-ahead to do anything. He was currently their leader in this endeavor after all. Of course, Kotohime was nearly foaming at the mouth with her desire to bed the young man, while Sasum was stuck between greatly respecting and admiring him for his courage and strength of character and wanting to run away because of Kotohime. The girl had just been so graphic about what she wanted to do with the boy. No, someone more like Jugo was her speed. Someone strong and calm, plus their hair matched. That had to be fate. Jugo was just having a ball learning all he could about his new lord. There were no thoughts of women or future plans in his mind at all. If only he knew what Naruto had planned for him. Someone needed to take some of this womanly heat off the young man after all. Sorry, Jugo, you would be a sacrifice soon. Naruto, however, motioned down to the ground, dropping down himself in full view of the short wooden fence that the bandits had erected. Stretching and preparing himself mentally, he had stowed his mask away before this. He already knew he wouldn't need it. Kotohime, however, was leaning over his shoulder, her yukata much more open than it had been the last few days. So what's the plan, my lord? She had found Naruto to be incredibly strong, patient, and loyal to his creed. Qualities many men of this time failed in. She was not letting him escape her. If she had to share, then so be it. Naruto, however, was doing his best to focus on what was ahead of him. These guys are some of the worst of the worst. They aren't getting a second change. I'll wipe them out quickly, take you girls back to your clan, and then head back to continue my work. It had been nearly a week since he had left Spring. Sure, there wouldn't have been any major progress in terms of training, but he still missed his girls. Still felt odd saying that, even mentally. So you have multiple mates, any strong bullshit. We aren't animals, things are a little different for humans. If you say so. Wait until you start mating, you'll understand then. Why are all of my mentors such perverts? Again, wait until you mate once, you'll understand. Mental link fading, Naruto resisted the urge to pull his hair out as they approached the hastily built gate. It was barely 6 feet high and had obviously been constructed quickly. Who was that supposed to stop? Who the hell are you? Go away unless you wanna die. Naruto ignores them for a moment, making all at once close to 1,000 clones before focusing on the guard. Look. I'll only say this once. Tell everyone inside to lay down your weapons and surrender yourself to the Daimyo for judgment. Or I'll kill you all. The fuck you trying to pull, kid? What's the ninja trick you're trying to fake? Everyone knows clones can't touch anything. Naruto shrugged. I won't repeat myself. Sasum leaned forward this time. I'm guessing you won't need help at all, right? Nah, I've got this trash. My lord, this is below you. Shouldn't I take care of this? Naruto shook his head as they all ignored the guards ranting at them to leave. It's okay, I've been letting you take out the bandits and gangs we've been running into on the road so far, let me have my fun. Making a signal, Naruto's clones swept into the camp. Amid the screams, yells, and explosions were multiple copies of Naruto voices calling out one-liners. He really needed to check on that. It was nearly over before the last clone even had a chance to jump over the wall. Naruto started forward while followed by the others. Two cheeky clones opened the doors to allow everyone to see the carnage inside. Just like the last few camps, the Narutos were quick and efficient in the destruction. There wasn't a bandit standing by this point, and most of the clones were looting whatever was useful and sealing it away into a medium-sized scroll prepared by a clone hanging out in the middle of the camp. Sasam frowns about that. You're taking their stuff. Naruto shook his head. I'm sealing it away to give to Hanzaki, I'm not taking it for myself. Which was his intent. He didn't plan on taking anything. He was rebuilding a nation with no planes to steal from anyone. Kotohime looked around as they spotted more cages not far away. What about them? Naruto made a point to make a fresh batch of hardened clones while his base clones interview the captured people and sorted them by where they wanted to go. Same treatment as usual. Some will stay and some will go with me. Jugo looked around slowly and saw that everything was well at hand. This is the last camp, correct? What's the plan from here? Naruto had his hands on his hips. From here we'll head back to the Fuma clan to drop off Kotohime and Sasam. Then we'll be back in spring where I'll introduce you to everyone. Kotohime pouted. I thought I'd be going with you, my lord. Naruto twitched. Maybe soon, but I have some work too. Kotohime was suddenly very much in his personal space. I'm sure we can work something out. I have a variety of uses that would be good to have around. Sasam scoffed from his other side. I'm pretty sure Lord Naruto doesn't need a bag of holes like you around him. Kotohime bristled and turned to the younger girl. Say that again. Naruto held up his hands. How about not? Kotohime, I can tell you're serious about this, so you can come along. But you realize once you do you'll be sworn to secrecy about where you go and who you meet. It is that serious around me. He paused to lock eyes with the older girl. You may not be coming home for a long while. Kotohime bowed deeply. Your worries are my worries, your journey is my journey, my lord. Naruto sighed and nodded as a clone eventually brought him the medium-sized storage scroll and saluted. All cleaned out and all of the prisoners have been evacuated. Most wanted to stay in Rice while the rest spread themselves evenly between home and spring. Seeing the original Naruto nod, the clone dispelled. Naruto himself turned to the group with a shrug and motioned back towards the trees. Well, let's get a move on. First stop is Fuma home base, and then from there I'll take you to meet the rest of my group. Jugo tilted his head as they began tree hopping away. Does your group have a name? Naruto shook his head. Haven't thought about one actually. Kotohime saw a chance and rocked with it. Well, you said you're rebuilding your clan, correct? Naruto nodded as they bounced from tree limb to tree limb. Uzumaki, correct? She thought about that. Something island-based for sure. Had to be deadly. What about Riptide? Jugo chimes in. That seems feature-dependent though. What about Undertow? Naruto tunes them out as Sasam moves up beside him. You've done a lot for my country in such a short time. Thank you. Naruto nods. Now it's up to you. Treat the people well and show that the Fuma can be trusted again. It would be half a day at least back to meet up with Hanzaki, and honestly Naruto was ready to be back in spring. There was still so much work to do. True to his predictions, not even a full day of travel found Naruto and his temporary group standing before a shocked-looking Hanzaki. Handing over his scroll of pilfered goods, Naruto just smirks and crosses his arms. I work fast when I want. I can see that. Surely you haven't made that much progress. Sasam steps forward with a smile, hands laced behind her back. Actually, we pretty much wiped out every rogue bandit and gang in the country for now. Made the Fuma clan's job a whole lot easier. Kotohime nodded from her spot on Naruto's left. He is very powerful. The Fuma clan should have no problem keeping the peace on their own. Though allies wouldn't hurt. Though she was planning on leaving, she would still give her opinion on the matter. Allies and with whom would we ally with? Hanzaki could face the fact that this kid had the power to back up his boasting. That was worth an alliance all on its own. Well, officially you'll be an ally with Spring. Secretly it'll be me. Azu is more of a shadow country at the moment until reconstruction is finished. Naruto reminded himself again that he needed to get around to checking in with Tazuna. Hanzaki doesn't waste much time thinking about it. This young man was good on his word and so he would be as well. Then an alliance is easy to agree on. I'll send someone with word to our Daimyo and we'll make preparations. Is there anything you need for now? Nah, we're good. Oh here. Naruto unsealed a single Hiraishin tag and handed it to the man, placed it somewhere safe and protected. It's my secret way to come and go between countries. Naruto waited for Hanzaki to take the tag from him before continuing. After you place it, if you put a little chakra into it, it'll call me. If I'm not already in the middle of an emergency, I'll make my way as fast as I can. Worst case, I'll send a clone to see how bad it is before I come. Hanzaki held the tag and realized just how important something like this would be. With a nod he places it away in a pocket. I'll place it somewhere safe. Cool, then that's it. Time to move on then. Turning and nodding to Jugo, Naruto had almost gotten away before a smiling Kotohime latches onto him. You're not forgetting someone, are you? Hanzaki himself sighed. Already on the move then? I made myself clear, didn't I? Hanzaki just nods and thumps his chest once. You'll always be a Fuma. Make sure to visit from time to time. Turning to look at Naruto, Hanzaki shrugs as he knows he can't stop the woman. Take good care of her. Will do. Grabbing hold of Jugo and Kotohime, they were soon gone in a flash. Sasam sighed and turns to go inside. I think I've had too many once in a lifetime events in the last week. I'm going to sleep. Hanzaki chuckles. It can't have been that. He can make enough clones to take over a country. You can't rationalize that. Huh. Hanzaki considered that hopefully they made the right call allying themselves with that kind of force. He'd rather not be ground into dust under those kinds of numbers. To the north and being deposited in a finely furnished sitting room, Jugo and Kotohime had a moment to wonder at where they were before Naruto is grinning and motioning around them. Welcome to Spring and specifically the Daimyo's mansion. Currently there was only Hinata looking at them all with a wide-eyed expression while at the main table. Ceiling scrolls and notes are strewn everywhere. Welcome back, Naruto. What's this? She was curious but not worried at all. She already had an idea of what might have happened. Naruto motioned to the two with him. I rescued Jugo from the northern base. He's a good guy, quiet, likes nature. Super strong. And you remember Kotohime, she wanted to come along, you know why. Sure enough, Hinata just shrugged and nodded, having a feeling already. Standing, the girl walked forward and hugged the boy tightly. Missed you. It's only been a few days. Leaning down, he kissed the girl lightly and moved away with a blush. Hinata was smiling as she returned to the table. Days or months, any time away from you makes me lonely. Are you going to visit everyone else? Yeah. Figured I would check in before seeing if Kyuki has any other missions. Maybe finally check in with Tazuna. Hinata nods. Okay, just make sure to check in with everyone, okay? I'm sure they'd all like to see you. Naruto, however, gets curious about what the pale-eyed girl is working on. Walking over, he looks over her shoulder while Jugo and Kotohime are looking around the room a bit. What's this? I had an idea about the chakra senses you made. Was curious if maybe we could extend the range to detect flying adversaries as well. Huh, that would probably help for Azu, since there are only a few ways to get there. That was my thought. Naruto nods and squeezes her shoulder once. Good thinking. I'll leave ya to it. Don't burn yourself out. I won't. Turning away, Naruto motions for Jugo and Kotohime to follow him out and down the hall. Kotohime leans forward to address him. I'm assuming she's very important to you? She was not going to consider anyone she met as competition. She was more of the mindset of, the more the merrier. Everyone you're about to meet is very important to me. You'll see. Not feeling anyone inside the mansion, his next stop was around the back of the mansion, where a sweaty Ino was training with a brown Oni mask on her face. However, as Naruto and the others got close, she turned and lifted the mask to her head and exposing her features. Naruto. Smiling brightly, the platinum blonde got a running start before jumping into his arms. Kissing him hotly, she eventually pulled away with a blush. Welcome back. Laughing, the boy held her by her waist for a moment before letting her down. I'm home. I see you're working with your chosen mask. How is it? My earth control is nearly perfect with it, but my chakra reserves def need some work, so I'm training with it every day. Grinning and flexing a bit, she smirked as she watched Naruto's eyes roam over her form. I've also noticed that my mind warp jutsu is a little better with it on as well. Huh, that's a surprise. Yeah, but I'm going to keep working at it. I'm assuming you're checking in with everyone? Seeing him nod, the girl bounced and turned to get back to work. Make sure to get your letters to Hinata. She's making a new batch to send out soon. Oh yeah, I'll get on that. Leaning over and finally noticing the pair watching him quietly. Well, the boy was taking notes in a small notebook and muttering about someone being a love master. Ino nudged Naruto. Who's this? Ah, sorry. These are Jugo and Kotohime. Kotohime is from the Fuma clan. We rescued her from the sound base in Rice. Jugo I rescued from the northern sound base. They both decided to join me on my quest. Ino gave them both a appreciating once over before sighing and nodding. I get it. We'll all have to have a sit down later. Of course. We have stuff to talk about as a group after all. Leaning in to hug the girl again, Naruto was all smiles as he pulls away. Who else is out here with you? Karen isn't far, just around the corner I think. Tayuya is a bit away, said her jutsu was a little too destructive to use close to the mansion. Ino herself was already getting back into her own training mentality. Got it, we'll move on then. Waving goodbye, the trio moved on down the path that led around the mansion. Jugo leaned forward. Now, you really are a man of many talents, my lord. I will do my best to learn all I can from you. Stick around, you'll learn a lot. Like how to be a friend, hopefully. Naruto, however, spotted the shorter redhead he was looking for. Kamenu mask firmly in place and several earth golems seeming to aimlessly walk around her and perform basic tasks. Though as the group walked up, all dozen of them turned to look at Naruto silently. Well, that's not creepy. Karen laughs, though she doesn't remove her mask. Just wait till I've got this down a bit better. Myself and the Kyuki have been talking about using this in conjunction with the snow ninja armor, and well, the ideas we have right now would make for great village defenders. I wouldn't try sending them out on missions, of course, but as like an automated defense or even a policing force? Huh, that would help with keeping the civilians in line as well if you can finish your training. Karen is grinning behind the mask, and Kyuki showed me the designs for that blimp they had hidden away. I'm going to be busy for a while. Well, don't burn yourself out, okay? We have time. I know that. Now who's the bruiser? One. No, the Fuma chick. Karen vaguely remembered the flirtatious busty girl. Another boob monster to add to the group. Yay. This is Jugo. He's calling himself my retainer after I saved him from the northern base. Oh, another Orochimaru find her? Another ? Jugo chimed in this time, curious about how Karen worded that. Oh yeah, myself and Tayuya are from the sound as well. And we're happy to never be going back as well. Ah, I see. I do not wish to leave Lord Naruto's side as well. Karen considered that. Jugo was taking the retainer role serious, it seemed. Stick around, you'll learn a lot about us. Here she turned to Kotohime. Us girls will have a talk later. Kotohime bowed lightly. I would expect nothing less. Naruto had walked up, poking one of the squat golem in the midsection. They were like chubby earthen dolls with glowing blue eyes. I never would have thought to combine golem with the chakra armor. Karen just snorts. That's why I'm around. I'm the actual brains while you get to be explosion murder boy. Giggling as she pushes him lightly, she motions to the woods not far away. Tayuya is that way. You should go see her. Naruto just salutes. On it. Once again starting down the path, now away from the mansion, Jugo and Kotohime follow along. Naruto, however, thinks it over and makes a single clone while turning to walk backwards and talk to the duo. Actually, you both should head back inside. Follow my clone to go see Kyuki. Tayuya can be touchy with strangers. Jugo again had his notebook out. Lord Naruto learns and memorizes important details about his women. That felt important to remember. Kotohime had the urge to smack the larger boy but held it in, just nodding and tugging on Jugo's sleeve to steer him back towards the mansion so they could follow the clone. As you wish. We'll be waiting for you. Naruto grins, thanks Kotohime, I'll see ya soon. Watching both of his newest comrades walk away, Naruto eventually turns and makes his way further into the woods. He wondered just what Tayuya would have to be training with that would take her this far out from everyone else. He got his answer pretty soon, however, as he felt something approach him quickly. The chakra at least felt like Tayuya's, so he stopped where he was and waited. From the tree cover burst three large demon-looking entities. To him at least they weren't alive, but they weren't completely fake. Something to do with Tayuya's jutsu then. He could just barely make out what sounded like a jaunty melody from a flute before the song ended. At its end, the three beasts were gone as well. Naruto continues to wait and is soon rewarded with Tayuya herself dropping from the trees to stand in front of him. New seal active, it isn't too far off from her previous curse seal. Skin now a dark brown with black eyes and gold pupils, her muscle definition has also increased. More so, her previous crown of horns has thinned only slightly, becoming more regal in appearance. Naruto, however, is left only a little speechless while Tayuya doesn't catch on right away. Hey Whiskers, though I felt some weird chakra nearby, was that all you ? Tayuya had a red Hanya mask on, though now was pushing it up and over her horns to address Naruto properly. Eyes wide, she worried if he was working himself too hard, he seemed flush. Naruto had to take a minute to clear himself of dirty thoughts. I'm back. Just wanted to check in and see how you were doing. How's the seal ? Yes, right. He was here to check in with his friends and family. Not Oogle the very hot Tayuya, who was now slightly taller than him and looked capable of crushing boulders bare-handed. It's great. It's like flipping a switch with how easy it is to use it. No mental feedback or whispers from Orochimaru. My doki have never responded so well. And the Hanya mask, with its jutsu negation and chakra control circuits, it makes everything I do an even greater force to fight against. Tayuya gushed a bit over what Naruto had done for her. The power to pull natural energy from anywhere and not be hit with emotional backlash ? She'd give anything to keep this up. Naruto coughed into his hand and nodded, well, I'm glad it's all working out. Chakra drain from the mask isn't an issue ? Nope. Guess that's probably because it's easier for us Uzumaki ? Shifting her weight to one hip while stowing her flute away, she watched Naruto's gaze flow over her for a moment before locking back onto her eyes. Oh ho. So he liked her curse form. Wonderful. Naruto, however, decided to answer one of her earlier questions. Oh. The other chakra signatures you felt ? One rescued another sound prisoner, Jugo, and Kotohime decided to join us from the Fuma clan, remember her ? Tayuya, however, was focusing on what was important to her. Yeah, we'll get them in a moment, I remember Jugo. Say, Whiskers. Tayuya had walked up to the boy and got well within his personal space. What do you think of my curse form ? There's no truth seal here, Tayuya. And yet, I'm still asking. While her own assets were rather modest, the curse seal did a good job of enhancing everything she had, so how about it? It's just us out here, what do ya think ? Naruto knew he couldn't run away. And this was one of his precious people. Relenting and pulling the currently dark-skinned girl into him, Naruto smiled, if I wasn't worried about someone finding us, I might start working on bringing back the Uzumaki clan. Pulling the girl into a quick but very hot kiss, Naruto pulled back with a smile, answer your question ? Tayuya nodded, though she was suddenly very hot and bothered. Sure thing, hot stuff. Just don't do that too often. You'll knock me up before anyone else. Winking, she let her love pull away from her. The problem with this form was that everything within nature resonated with her. That included the instinctual urge to mate with the strongest candidate present. That was absolutely Naruto at the moment. Holding that back took a lot of work. She did want to continue training after this and didn't want to switch forms. She does, however, bring something up. You didn't flinch at all when my doki confronted you. Why ? Naruto shrugged. Easier to focus when they were talking about jutsu. I felt your chakra controlling them, so I had no reason to fear. I trust you. Completely. Tayuya flushed and smiled, Because of course this musclehead would say the absolutely best thing in the moment, I know you trust me. Thank you. She holds up her flute, studying it as she thinking about what she wants to say. There's no one around them for a long while it seems. They were in their own bubble, so she could be a bit more open about herself. Music has been my focus for a long time. It's gotten me through a lot of hard times. From the torture and training, to the lonely nights and abuse. But because of you, I finally have a new song in my heart. She leans in, kissing the boy once more lightly before pulling away. I hope, soon, you'll get to hear it. Naruto grins, scratching the back of his head. I'll be ready to listen, whenever you're ready. Tayuya turns away, looking over her shoulder at him. I know you will. I trust you, because you trust me. Get going, I'll catch up with you later once I think I'm good enough with my training. I'm ready to start laying the hurt on Orochimaru as soon as I can. Naruto nods, turning away and getting ready to head back to the mansion. For what it's worth, I'll say it out loud, you're pretty hot with that seal active. Tayuya smirks, striking a pose while lifting her shirt a bit to expose a lot of skin. Just you wait. You'll get to see just what this form can do. Without another word Tayuya jumped away, flute back in her hand. Naruto himself beat a hasty retreat back towards the mansion. He knew that if he stayed in those woods any longer neither of them would be willing to wait for anything after that. So, focus. Don't worry about long-haired redheads with great bodies or sharp tongues. Kurama decided to speak up. Between her and the Hyuga, my bet is on the Uzumaki jumping you first. Naruto groaned as they walked along. We have feelings too, you know. It isn't just about. Kurama chuckled. Yes, your mother said much the same thing. And then she met your father. Why, I remember when. Naruto was immediately hit with the urge to never hear the Bayou speak ever again. I can't fucking hear you. Nope, no, understand the words coming from your mouth. Demons can be seen, not heard. Kurama began to laugh uproariously. Come now. You know your parents mated at least once to make you. What is there to feel shame about? Naruto shook his head as he made his way inside the mansion eventually. Yeah, exactly. I know my parents did it, once, and then they made me. I don't need details, descriptions. Nothing. Once was enough. Oh, just you wait, boy. Once is never enough. La I can't fucking hear you, you ageless bastard. Feeling the old chakra construct fade into the background of his mind while laughing its metaphorical ass off, Naruto was glad he didn't have a mental image of his mother fresh in his brain. That would have been traumatizing. For now he focused on finishing his trek to Kyuki's office and hopefully where Kotohime and Jugo were. His clone hadn't popped like normal. Odd that. It wasn't long before Naruto found himself in Karuki's office. Jugo and Kotohime were standing before her desk, Kotohime chatting with her amicably while Jugo was standing at attention and waiting. However, his clone was behind her and giving her a back rub. He just knew those memories about her movie set weren't a dream. Hey Kyuki. I see you've met my 2 new additions. So do you have anything new for me? Koiriki hummed and leaned into the clone's touch. Oh Suya. Give me a clone and nothing personal yourself. I feel loved. I'm just the daimyo of my country, who has feelings for you. Nothing serious or any. Kyuki was eventually silenced as Naruto himself had gotten the message and walked forward around her desk. Tilting her head up back a finger to her chin, Naruto leaned down and kissed the girl fully on the lips. Ignoring the rest of the world for a moment, the two parted with panting gasps that left Kyuki's mind fuzzy and Naruto slowly returning to the other side of the desk. You know I wouldn't forget you like that. Aha. Right. Yeah. The clone addressed his boss. She'll be in La La Land soon if you don't get to the point. Somehow Naruto felt like he should know more than his clones did, but he chalked it up to his subconscious being weird. So has Spring received any new missions? Kyuki nodded and rooted around for a scroll in her desk. I need you. No wait. She paused as she thought about what she was going to say. Jugo however had his notebook back out. Lord Naruto is a master of diffusing his wife's tantrums. Kotohime nodded along in agreement this time, apparently so. Her own mind going to how he could diffuse certain situations in the future. Really you two? Naruto shook his head and eventually snapped his fingers, Hello Kayuki. Missions ? That worked for Kayuki, snapping out of it and finding the scroll she was looking for. Right. I've had some contact with the Daimyo of Hot Spring. I have a proposition for them and they are open to it. However, they wish to meet with you. The shadow cage as it is. Kayuki held out a scroll which Naruto took and sealed away on his person. You'll have to meet the Daimyo at his palace. He's expressly mentioned that you'll need to walk for the last leg of your journey and to keep your onepunchman mask on. That's how they'll know it's you. Naruto nods and salutes. Got it, onepunchman and walking. We can do that. Turning back to the others, Naruto first looks at Jugo. I think it might be a good idea for you to stay. Spring is pretty peaceful and that is what you are looking for. Jugo shook his head quickly. I am your shield. I go where you go. Kotohime cut Naruto off before he could even say anything. I'm with you. You know that. Naruto turned back to Kayuki and saluted. Guess we're set then. I'll be back soon, hopefully within a day or so. Kayuki nods. You better be. Take a break when you get back. I'm sure you'll have time to check in with Azu and with everyone. We haven't had a bath night with you in a while. Naruto frowned. That sounds like you're still having them without me. Get your imagination running with that thought ? Naruto couldn't say no to that. Sure, he may have been peak professionalism before she said anything. But after she mentioned it, you're all going to be responsible for my death. Kayuki waved with a smile. Most men and some women would be happy to go out that way. Now get going. The sooner you go, the sooner you return. Naruto grabbed hold of Jugo and a blushing Kotohime. Got it. See ya soon. Then they were gone, Naruto flashing to a random tree within the hot spring forest. Kotohime recovered first. Just where are we ? Naruto swept his arms wide. Welcome to hot spring country. Home to literally hundreds of different hot springs, from those that good for your health to those that help chakra recovery and some that help with more intimate matters. Kotohime suddenly had stars in her eyes. That fabled bust spring is here. Do we have time to find it ? Naruto shook his head and he motioned for the two to follow him. Not today. But I'll promise that we'll all find time to explore to our heart's content later, okay ? Kotohime smiles, though she is disappointing. As long as we do come back, I'm okay with it. Everyone making their way back to ground level and finding the main road, Naruto dons his mask and smirks behind it. We're actually pretty close already to the Daimyo's palace. Here, take these. Naruto unseals two masks. One is a specialized red hanya mask while the other is a brown oni mask. Kotohime, the red hanya is specialized towards jutsu negation and chakra control enhancement. It will however tax your chakra pretty hard if you get hit with something, so I'd suggest still dodging if you can. Here he handed the mask over to the astonished Kotohime before turning to Jugo. This is a mass-production Uzumaki mask, the Oni mask, brown to be specific. Brown relates to earth chakra control and I noticed you have an affinity for it. This'll increase your control tenfold and increase your normal strength by a good factor as well. Kotohime had donned her mask and took her position at Naruto's left shoulder. Thank you, my lord. I will use this gift with pride and honor. Jugo mirrored her own sentiments. I as well will cherish this gift from you till the day I die. Thank you, sire. Donning the mask and taking position at Naruto's right shoulder, the three started down the road towards the Daimyo's palace. Naruto had his hands behind his back. I'm pretty sure I asked for you both to be more informal with me. Kotohime shook her head. We're Undertow, the Azu elite guard. We could never. Jugo nodded. Our duty is to protect you and your family, my lord. Jugo was having fun with this, however. He knew Naruto wanted him to be more of a friend, but Jugo had this freedom to be a bit of a tease. He was taking it, for now. Maybe one day he'd have a chance to branch out himself. That girl Sasam seemed cute and had a beautiful shade of hair. Orange. Just like his. Naruto groaned and threw up his hands as a group of bandits entered the road ahead of them. Why do I even bother? Fine. Do what you'd like. Jugo nodded, stepping forward and confronting the bandits. As you will, sire. The leader of the bandit group was smirking. There's a dozen of us here. Lay down your weapons and wheel you go, boys, go with your lives. The woman stays with us. Jugo, however, is already upon him. There's nothing staying with you. Unleashing carnage upon him, Kotohime turns to Naruto to tune out the one-sided battle. My lord, You do plan on working towards rebuilding your clan, correct? Naruto nods slowly, yeah. I just, hoped I had a year or two before figuring that out. Kotohime shook her head while a severed leg went flying in her peripheral vision. My lord, you never know what the new day might bring. It's best to get started early and leave instructions for if you pass. Maybe a will? Naruto was thinking that one over. Yes, he knew Kotohime had her own motives, though her reasoning wasn't wrong. Seeing Jugo finish and turn back to them, Naruto and Kotohime continued their walk. I'll start on a will. That's pretty important. As far as kids go, give me a little time. Kotohime nodded. You're a lord. You have all the time in the world. She meant it as well. Naruto was a man that would change anything to see his own vision come true. She gained confidence as well because Naruto's vision seemed to align with normal everyday civilians as well as ninja. Which was a plus. Focusing on their trek, they made good time until they were coming close to the final approach of the palace they could just see over the trees. However, another gang was laying in wait for them. This group, however, was mostly kids. Some older teenagers, sure, but they were all wet behind the ears kids. Sure, Naruto felt a certain way talking about kids close to his age as kids. It was, however, that he had been considered an adult since becoming a ninja, something these civilians couldn't claim. The leader was pointing a decent-sized knife at the group. Leave your money and go. Before I stick you like a pig. Naruto snorted at that. This kid could barely lift the knife as it was. Instead of sticking it to me, you could be focused on someone who actually wants your attentions? The taller boys grunted. That's not what I meant, you perv. Naruto chuckled. Well, that's too bad. Filling the road with a minor number of clones who all took hostages, Naruto was smirking as the leader was looking around with a fearful look. Look, I'm in a hurry. Why don't you get on your way and we'll all forget this? Thinking that him and his crew had no way of fighting a ninja, the boy nodded. Sure. We'll leave ya alone. Naruto frowned finally, wanting to impart a though as he motioned for the clones to let everyone go. Look, maybe, I don't know. Find a different way to improve your life. Eventually you're going to run into someone not as nice as me, and then you're dead. Naruto's eyes flashed from behind his mask. There's no coming back from dead, no? The boy nodded and he and his crew rushed back into the underbrush. Whatever, man. We'll let you go this time. Then they were gone, leaving Naruto, Jugo and Kotohime giving bemused looks to the bush cover. Jugo grunted. Trash can't help but be trash. Naruto shrugged as they got to walking again. I don't know. I used to be trash like that. Jugo shook his head, doubtful. What I mean when I call someone trash is that they refuse to better themselves by their own merit. Weak, but blame everyone else for why they are weak, instead of doing something about it. Those kids trash, because they would rather steal than work hard. Naruto remembered some cold nights along in the Leaf Village. Dumpster diving, scrounging for food and warmth. Willing to do almost anything to get away from that life. Maybe. I think, they're the type of kids we want to help. That's why I spared them. Even here, in a country that prides itself on neutrality and tourist attractions, there is strife. Those kids are going the route they think they have to, because the system around them shows that's all they have. Kotohime could see where Naruto was coming from, so you let them live, to show them that not everything has to be life or death? Something like that. Plus, no point in killing non-ninja kids. What threat are they? Kotohime smiles behind her mask. A very wise decision, my lord. Jugo himself nods along. I would not have considered that. Indeed, a wise decision. Naruto himself sighed and settled in for a long walk. Come on, we have a ways to go. Naruto admitted to Jugo eventually that he wanted to travel faster to the Daimyo mansion faster, but they had been advised that they should take it slow through Hot Spring. Naruto wasn't one to ignore Kyuki's advice, and so they were walking. Thankfully they actually weren't that far from the destination, and as the sun began to set they were escorted under guard to the Daimyo himself. The Daimyo himself wanted to model himself after the image he wanted to create for his country. To that effect, he was a portly man with an easy smile and a joyful yet peaceful demeanor. That said, he was wary of meeting with ninja even if he had gotten assurances from the new spring Daimyo. Sure, the Onoman mask was the marker she had given, but who was for sure that this was who they were looking for? But he put on a smile and welcomed the three into his office regardless, several samurai in attendance, just in case. Welcome. My name is Taida and I believe you have a letter for me? The Spring Daimyo mentioned that they wish to enter into a tentative agreement for goods transportation via train rail? Naruto nods, not making a move to move forward or mold chakra. Instead pulling the scroll from a pocket and holding it up in plain view. A samurai guard walks forward to take it from him before checking it over and eventually handing it to the daimyo. Spring has made a lot of advances in technology not involving chakra. They want to revolutionize the world, and want to bring everyone they can along for the ride. Naruto was in full shadow leader mode and thankfully Jugo and Kotohime picked up on that, not saying a word themselves. Taida eventually was given the scroll and opened it to read its contents. Seeing that everything was in order just as the letter from the Spring Daimyo said, the older man smiled thinly. Moving people and goods rapidly would be a boon for Hot Spring. This is something that we would love unconditionally. Taida was lying of course, but he knew better. Ninja were not to be trusted. Best to lie and get him out the door as quickly as possible. Naruto however just sighed, Mask telling him Taida's own thoughts as if the older man had said them aloud. Yeah, see, lying isn't necessary. If you don't feel comfortable about the alliance you can say so. Spring is willing to work with any country it wishes to forge a bond with. That also includes leaving countries alone that wish to be alone. Taida's eyebrows raised quickly. For such a young ninja to see through his lie was interesting. You are well informed. You must understand however that I do not wish for my country to be brought into another war. Upsetting the political balance like this could do just that. Naruto nods, having thought of that himself. Lightning and Earth would stand to lose a lot if goods become more accessible to the smaller countries. Even the Leaf would suffer a bit. Wind would actually benefit, not having great agricultural or seafaring villages itself. I get it. This is, however, completely voluntary. Spring is not looking for war, but the future is uncertain. We will of course defend anyone within our group from outsiders, along with providing our services. Anyone protected by the Uzumaki were going to be considered VIPs as far as Naruto was concerned. He'd level lightning if they so much as breathed wrong in Hot Spring's direction. Taida himself thinks about that. No repercussions if we decide not to agree to this ? Naruto nods, none at all. We wish to be friends, not tyrants. I see. Taida took a minute to think about that. Usually newer daimyos or villages were so heavy-handed. That Spring was taking a soft approach spoke of either experience or more likely, hidden strength. I will say, we can talk slowly about an alliance. I like the idea of a railway for not just supplies but for people, tourists, specifically. Our economy pretty much runs completely on tourism, civilian and ninja. Taida motioned out a window to the roads below. The roads can be treacherous. Of course, but Spring is doing its best to develop new technology for everyone. You won't be disappointed with an alliance. Naruto watches as the daimyo pulls a scroll from his robes and holds it out for a samurai to bring to Naruto. This is for your daimyo. Take it, and let them know we will begin more formal talks for an alliance. This railway they wish to build will take time, I'm sure. But if they are willing to fund it completely as they said, then we will support it in the end. Good day to you. Naruto bows as he accepts the scroll and seals it away. Good day to you as well. Naruto, Jugo, and Kotohime bow silently from there and accept being escorted out. Taida however looks over to his advisor who had been hidden behind a wall curtain the entire time. That ninja was very perceptive. The nameless advisor nods. That was the Maelstrom, sir. An S-rank ninja of some renown. Maelstrom ? Taida shakes his head as he turns away to walk back to his desk. We should make an entry ourselves. Something more grand. Say, the one who sees the truth. He saw through me so easily after all. It will be done, my lord. See that it is. Outside, Naruto and his group barely made it to the base of the steps before Naruto grabbed Jugo and Kotohime and flashed away. Hot Spring was nice, but Naruto truly did want to relax sooner rather than later. He could only do that in spring, and Kyuki had only told him to approach the Hot Spring daimyo at a snail's pace, not leave. Dropping everyone within the Spring Mansion, Naruto ripped his mask off with a smile. Okay, that's it. Time to relax a bit and treat ourselves. Jugo took his own mask off and looked around. Would I be allowed to explore a bit? Maybe look around the woods? Naruto nods. Go for it. There will be either one of my clones or a snow ninja looming not far away able to direct you to a room later. Okay? Jugo nods. Then by your leave. Seeing Naruto wave him off again, Jugo left the main sitting room, determined to find his way outside. Kotohime however shrugged as she had a different plan in mind. Do you have other work to perform? Her own mask was off and handed back to Naruto, who sealed it away. Not at the moment. Just gonna drop this scroll off with Kyuki and then take a bath and relax. That sounds wonderful. Perhaps I will join you. Aha, maybe. Walking into the sitting room, alerted by Naruto's chakra usage, a taller snow ninja soon stood before the blonde. Sir, welcome back. Naruto focused on the ninja. What's up? Kyuki need me? No sir. This is actually about that ninja you captured. We've made a list of the seals placed on him for your review. The ninja was holding out a scroll for Naruto to take, which Naruto did so while handing his own scroll from the hot spring Daimyo to the ninja. Make sure that gets to Kyuki, will ya? I'm gonna be busy. Naruto's mind was already fully into what he was reading. So a silencing seal on the tongue, loyalty seal and a locating seal at the base of the neck. A fertility seal on her lower abdominal and a combo conditioning and paralysis seal on the lower back. Wonderful. This had Black Ops written all over it. Had to be Danzo. Naruto created a clone and looked at it fully. Can ya go and find Ino? The clone gave a grin and saluted. On it, boss. Then it was gone down the halls while Naruto walked towards the basement with Kotohime following behind him. What's this about a captured ninja? Naruto suddenly remembered that Kotohime had no clue what was going on. So, someone sent a ninja to come find me and either bed me or bend me to their will. We spotted the ruse almost right away, but we were able to figure out who forced them to come. So I'm going to remove their seals and hopefully piece together just what happened and who they are. Kotohime held a hand to her chest in surprise. You have that ability? Naruto nods. Seals are a mashing. For the two ninja it doesn't take long to find their way into the lower levels of the mansion. Soon they were in the dark basement levels and Naruto was pushing open a door that had a snow ninja guard. Inside the room however things changed almost right away. Not a dank cell like he thought, instead the room looks more hospital room than it did prison cell. The bed was Spartan and there was a curtain that hung from the ceiling to provide privacy, though at the moment it was open. Naruto however noted the hospital gown that the girl, Kyohime, had been changed into, though the paper seal he placed on her forehead was still present. Well, before I wake her I should get to removing the seals placed on her. Unsealing his equipment on a provided table, he misses the odd look on Kotohime's face. She looks familiar. Naruto does take her seriously at that. How so? Kotohime shakes her head. Her hair is longer, a little more wild. Her features are also a bit softer, but she looks remarkably like my younger sister. Naruto nods at that. Well, at the moment she probably doesn't have much of a memory after the conditioning seal was placed on her. Let's get that off and work from there. If she does end up being your sister I'm sure you both will have a lot to talk about. Slowly rolling the girl onto her back, Naruto opens her gown and begins to work on removing all of the seals here, small though they are. Behind them both Ino walks in accompanied by a clone. Hair whiskers, what's the word? Naruto himself grinned as the clone he sent dispelled itself. Wanted to see if you could do a mind walk session with this girl once I remove her seals and wake her up. You up for that? Ino nods and leans against the wall to wait. Sure thing. It'll be good practice and a brush up on my skills. She looks over to Kotohime. Welcome back. Thank you. It's nice to be here. Tell me, you seem to be in the know about what is going on. Ino grins slyly but shakes her head. I am, but we're gonna have a girls' night soon. We all hit the baths when everyone is present together. Since you'll all be here instead of floating around tea, we're going to have one tonight and tomorrow. Ino then turned to Naruto. Hear that, Foxboy? Naruto nods as he's turned Kyohime over and removed the last seal on her tongue. I got it. I know better than to try and run away. Though really he shouldn't try. Taking an open-air bath with a group of beautiful women? Why pass that up? Finishing his work after a few minutes and sealing his tools away, he turned to look at Ino. Though you might have some work tonight, you ready? Ino nods, of course. Naruto removes the seal from Kyohime's forehead and waits. It takes a moment for the girl to begin to regain consciousness, groaning and shifting her body little by little. However, after a few minutes her eyes open, though almost immediately tears begin to flow, much to Naruto's worry. Are you in pain at all? I'm sorry. No pain. Much more emotion now. The girl before them was completely different from who they had met at first. I remember almost everything from when I was captured. The torture, the conditioning. Naruto held up a hand. You don't have to continue. If it was who I think it is, I have ideas. Naruto paused as he watched the girl quietly for a minute, giving her a little time to adjust to being herself again. Do you remember who you were? Bits, pieces, like a dream I just woke from. Finally tearing her gaze from the ceiling to look at the other occupants of the room, her eyes latched onto Kotohime. See sister? It is you, Kin. How did this happen? Tears were coming to Kotohime's eyes now as she rocketed forward to hug the tired-looking girl. This was the sister she thought had been killed in Orochimaru's failed invasion. Here she was, alive, though somewhat broken. You're alive? Kin nodded. I am. My memory isn't perfect. But I remember you. I remember our clan's desperation. I remember being used as a sacrifice to further Orochimaru's goals. Here the tears and anguish grew stronger. I remember the regret when I realized our clan would get nothing with my death and wishing I could take it all back. Kotohime pulled away slightly but stayed with arm's reach. Naruto however turns to Ino. I'm going to leave them be, but please stay, help however you can. Ino smiles and answers him quietly, of course. I'll be here. Kin however noticed him leaving. Wait. Seeing him pause and turn back, she shakes her head and tries to clean her tears. Danzo sent me. Naruto nodded, suspicion confirmed. Don't worry about that for now. You focus on catching up with your sister and resting. We can figure things out tomorrow. Ino is a mind walker, she should be able to help you regain your full memories. Kin nods with a weak smile, thank you. Naruto however was already out the door and walking down the hall. So this was Danzo's plan? Well then. Maybe the leaf needed another visit from him soon. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.